Welcome to Focus On, a focus on a specific business, issue, or topic for the month. And this month, we are looking at how to normalise behaviour. In other words, how to influence our customers to do something we would like them to do by showing them that other people are already doing it. But why would we want to normalise behaviour? Well, humans are inherently pack animals. We take a lot of comfort in knowing that something is safe to proceed with. And the best form of proof that something is safe is seeing that other humans are already trusting that it's okay to do. This is our social norm bias, or social proof, where we tend to reference the behaviour of others and want to fit in. If we show our customer that other customers have already trusted us or like our product, well, that's a shortcut to getting them to do so as well. And while social norms are a really powerful behavioural principle to use, that doesn't mean they're always used correctly. Here's where social norms go wrong. Two major points where I see businesses going wrong in their use of social norms. Number one, normalising the wrong behaviour. Here's a museum's donation box. The problem here is that it's practically empty. What does that do? It signals to people that no one else is donating. So why should you bother? Same with this business who's trying to get people to invest. 1,440 might seem a big number to them, but not so much for their potential customers. Or something that is rife on websites, proudly showing that no one likes your posts and no one shares them. Worse still, let's watch this short clip from an insurer. Listen out for how they try to convince customers they need insurance.
Australians lead the world in many things, but in a recent study of global insurance, we ranked as one of the most underinsured nations in the developed world.
What's even more worrying is that 96% of Australian parents with dependent children have inadequate levels of insurance cover despite having higher levels of debt.
Did you hear what they did wrong? Listen again.
What's even more worrying is that 96% of Australian parents with dependent children have inadequate levels of insurance cover despite having higher levels of debt.
96% of Australians have inadequate levels of insurance. 96% of people don't bother with insurance. Phew. That means I don't have to either. You can see what they're trying to do. They're trying to tell us that, hey, there's a big problem here. People are underinsured. Inadvertently, though, they've normalised not having insurance. Other organisations make this same mistake, like normalising violence in the workplace, normalising a lack of hand washing, and normalising not eating your vegetables. So the first mistake businesses make when it comes to social norms is normalising the wrong behaviour. Before I take you through the second mistake when it comes to norms, I wanted to let you know that you're watching a sample of content from my Just Do This membership program. In Just Do This, I show you exactly how to use behavioural science to everyday business issues, like acquiring and retaining customers and staff. You get live lessons with me, templates, scripts, and new content every month. You can join today at briwilliams.com. Now back to the mistakes we make with norms, because the second mistake is reactance. Infringing on a customer's sense of autonomy. When our sense of identity or autonomy is threatened, say when I tell you that you've only bought this because other people have, well, I might rail against it and end up doing the opposite. Some people are more prone to this than others. For instance, those that pride themselves on being a contrarian or a rule breaker. And for that reason, we need to counterbalance our use of social norms with reassurances about decision-making freedom. Language like, it's your decision, of course, but what I've noticed other clients do is ... or feel free to say no, but would you like to look at our most popular option? Right, we've talked about how to get norms wrong. Now let's talk about how to get them right. The first thing we can do in terms of getting norms right is to tell our customers what is normal. The most popular strategy to do this, of course, is using most popular, like we see with this airline. They are guiding customers to the preferred $35 bundle. Preferred by whom? Well, if we trust they're being truthful, preferred by other customers. But a business would be stupid to draw attention to an option they don't want to sell. So we'll assume that this business did want to sell more of this bundle. Of course, if your most popular product is one that has poor margin, well, then I would suggest you don't use social norms like most popular to draw more attention to it. Remember, we want to normalize the desirable behavior, and that means normalizing the purchase of products that you want to actually sell. So thinking back to our empty donation box, a couple of things they needed to do here. First, use a smaller container so it's easier to fill, and think more like a tip jar. Preload it with lots of cash to make donations look like the normal thing to do. And our second strategy to get norms right, tell them what's abnormal. Social norms can also stimulate action by comparing where your customer is relative to others. Remember, we're a pack animal and we hate to fall behind. My local chiropractor does this really effectively, provoking people with the proposition that headaches are not normal. This incites people who are experiencing headaches to seek an appointment. And schools in the US have used this technique beautifully by showing a parent or guardian the average number of days children are absent and the number of days their child is absent. In other words, it's not normal to be away so often. This intervention reduced chronic absenteeism by 11 to 15%. In Australia, a similar strategy was used to reduce overprescription of antibiotics by doctors. How? By sending a letter to these doctors showing them their rates of prescription compared to that of their peers. This level of discomfort about being outside the norm reduced unnecessary prescriptions by a whopping 12%. Now, a key to the last two examples, schools and doctors, was the use of an in-group. In fact, how you compare with your peers. But you can't always do that. So here's an example from a Parks campaign, take your litter home, other people do. So while there's much more when it comes to social norms, here's a recap of rules to follow when you're trying to influence action. Normalize the desired behavior, not the undesirable behavior. In other words, think about the tip jar, not the empty donation box or that insurance ad. Number 2, provoke a reconsideration of the status quo, just like the chiropractor did. Headaches are not normal. Where possible, use their in-group, like the schools and the doctors. And always avoid reactants by reminding them that they are free to choose, and of course, they are in the driver's seat. I hope you found this clip on social norms useful. Remember, it's a sample of content from Just Do This, and I'd love it if you would become a member. Of course, it's totally up to you.